All right, that's 5 past 5. So I guess it's just Charles and Emilio and me.
Hello.
How you doing, Charles?
Good, good. And
Fine.
yourself?
Technical problems this time. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm getting back into the swing of work. You know, the holidays.
Yeah, well, I had a very interesting New Year. Made it due to a couple of dodgy oysters.
Oh, that's not fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, it certainly wasn't. It was 48 hours afterwards, and it was just like, yeah.
So it was
But somebody,
proper food poisoning, not just a little
oh,
bit funny.
oh no, yeah. Let's just put it this way: I put my back out. I would say no
Oh my
more than
God,
that. Yeah, and it turns out,
that's athletic.
yeah, that was. It turns out we think it was probably a bunch. Well, the French have closed all their oyster banks in Brittany, so there's been a mass outbreak of gastroenteritis out there. So we're
Oh
thinking,
wow.
yeah, yeah. But I spoke to Arnott, and
You
he
should eat
went,
the
"So you
Scottish ones. You need
what's
to eat the
that?"
ones from Loch Fyne. You need to eat the
Well,
Scottish ones.
I probably should have. Well, somebody brought them to a New Year's Eve party you're having, so I don't know where they came from. Yeah, all I know is half out of the 10 people who had them, 5 people went down. So at least I didn't poison them with my cooking. That's all I looked at.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, that was my first thought. Go, if I just poisoned 50 people, that would not be a good thing to do. Yeah, that's not a reputation to get there. So yeah, no, it's all good. Got back in the swing of thing. Big crunching a load of search data today.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing an audit for the past couple of weeks. I'm just going to, Emilio, I don't think we have met or chatted really, except from on Slack briefly.
Yes, this is my hi. This is Emilio. This is my first time joining. Really glad to be here. I'm just starting in the world of data. I came across your channel DataBoy, and then I realized I think I came across this Slack group in Reddit. Um, and yeah,
Oh, cool. Did you?
I'm joining today here. Not exact. I don't exactly know what's the purpose of the meeting, but
It's just there's no real purpose to this right now. It's just kind of like the channel's only a couple months old, and it's more like just getting, you know, keeping a kind of semi-physical presence to a Slack channel, which I always think they can get a little bit empty if you don't actually have calls and stuff like that. So I'll give you guys an update of like what I've been working on since the last call. So the last call that we had, people were kind of asking me why should we do Python, like, and this is particular to me as opposed to the channel in general. So what I decided to do off the back of that call was make a bunch of videos trying to explain how I see the world over the next few years. When I say the world, I don't mean the actual whole world. I mean the kind of world of marketing and data analysis within marketing, and where I kind of see our jobs going. So this week, those videos are going to start going out. I think one of them should have went out by now because it was on a scheduled release. Um, Other than that, I've got a few other videos planned, but I've just the Christmas period obviously hit, so I couldn't do much. And I've got a list from everybody in the community of content that they would like to see made. So I'm still kind of working through that and figuring out what ones I can do kind of now. Um, Another thing that I'd like to start doing is actual in-person meetups as opposed to just kind of Zoom calls. And I'm talking to somebody right now to host one in London. I'm hoping in February, but because we haven't had our proper call yet, it might not happen in February, but we will see. And the community told me where they were for the most active ones anyway. So, because I'm looking at maybe like traveling around and holding meetups in different parts of the world, as long as there's somebody there to kind of support finding venues and stuff. And so far we have London with three of us, and Dublin, Berlin, and Amsterdam. So those might be places over the next year where you could like host meetups or kind of like marketing hackathons where we all show up and try solve a problem. So that's what I've been up to. Um, can I get some feedback from you guys as to like I know the Slack channel isn't like super busy right now, but is there things that you would like to see in the channel that I can maybe either go find or produce myself?
Oh, that's a very good question, Nick. Because you see, the Slack. Are you on Measure Slack?
Am I what?
Are you on the Measure Slack channel as well?
Oh no, I think not all the time. It's not
No,
in my kind of saved workspaces.
no. I mean, it's the reason I said that is because Measure Slack it's interesting because it's got momentum of its own. So because there's enough people on there, it's quite weird because I know of at least. Do you know Tim Stewart?
Yes.
Yeah. See, Tim weirdly uses it. Tim gets a lot of work out off that one. Because what tends to happen is because so many people are posting stuff, Tim is always jumping in. And if you've ever seen one of Tim's responses, they're never short. To say they're encyclopedia.
A conversation with him is either short either.
Well, you know what I mean. But what's interesting because
goes into it.
The reason I'm saying it is because Tim provides such great value that one, it's great having him on there, but two, people remember him. So I'm guessing I suppose the question is, what can we get on here that's going to generate more people to jump? Because see, I don't use Slack for work with my clients at the moment. I have to remember to turn Slack on. So I can quite happily go a couple of weeks and go, oh, I've forgotten about that, and then I dive back in again. That was a very roundabout way of saying I don't know.
Yeah.
So the video you've done, what is this video? Because you haven't posted it. Did you post it onto the Slack channel?
No, not yet. I think it goes out at 5:30 tonight. So
okay.
Just basically telling you guys. So they're basically just like whys, because I was getting asked in the last, I was like, why should I spend? Because obviously taking time to learn Python is quite an investment in time. And people are like, I don't understand why I should do this. So I think there's 7 videos. I think I'm just going to release one a day, the next couple of days. And they're basically just me, but like, this is how I started learning Python. This is why I think you guys should learn Python, or learn to code or something. And these are I think the big chunks of technology that I think will come in and actually replace big parts of our jobs. I think less so in SEO in the next couple of years, but definitely a lot in the ad industry.
So why not in SEO?
Because good question. I get the feeling from like when I do things that because every site is built differently, every site has a different series of problems.
Okay.
And it's basically, it'll take a bit of time for us to build rules and enough training data to be able to let a machine run away.
Okay. So it's the machine learning bit. Okay, yeah, rather than the data analysis bit. The reason
data analysis right now, it was 3 years ago, if anything.
Oh, you know what I mean? But
everything in Python.
Oh no, I mean it's well, the funny thing is, you see, I can't code for toffee. Genuinely, it's not. So it's really weird. So I'm quite happy. I can write a nice complex brief for somebody because it's in my head. Yep. So weirdly, I've been going for the other way. I've been spent the last 6 months. I've built out a whole suite of different. Every time I come across a new challenge, I go right. I can write this in Excel. Yep. Now the next thing for me is to scale this up into Python or something, because then I can basically do it a lot quicker. But the nice thing is I'm quite, so I spend a lot of time now shooting videos for people explaining conceptually what I've done. Heaven knows how I would code that in. So I'm slightly strange. When you say go away and code, I would go, it's still not make a blow of difference, but I'm really intrigued to know what are the possibilities in Python. Because then I can get somebody else to write it. Does that make sense?
It is. It does. The possibilities in Python, right? So I think with the depth of data, particularly in SEO, with the depth of data that we get, Excel just doesn't really cope particularly well. So you end up doing your job a lot slower in Excel. If you can do it all.
Oh no, we've
But for Python in general, it's the machine learning, deep learning aspects of it. because they'll be the parts that will replace our jobs.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's quite weird because, I mean, the stuff we're doing is not overly. It's weird. I go into agencies and they go, wow, that's really clever. I go, it's not really. All I've done is I've automated stuff. You know, one of the things we've done for a client was basically to say, look, this is the number of keywords you've got that are basically generated over 1,000 words per keyword. And so we showed them the long tail. And the look on their face was like, wow, this is incredibly clever. No, it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just common sense. So yeah, I said
you built it into a process so you can do it very quickly.
Well, exactly. So it's kind of weird. So what you're doing, I look at it and go, wow. And then people look at my stuff and go, wow. And I'm thinking, what are the rest of you not doing half the time?
Managing client expectations.
Yes, indeed.
That's what it is.
or for an audit I've done at the moment for this company, and I told them a year ago what the problem was, and they kind of went, oh, perhaps I think they genuinely thought it would just solve itself. Let's just say they killed 90% of all their generic keywords overnight in a site rebuild. And I told them a year ago, and they've paid me to do another audit, and I keep going, do you know what, guys? It's still rubbish. It's still rubbish.
Well, that happens all the time. That's why we're still in jobs, isn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly why we're in jobs, yeah.
But but I'd see if we kind of like hark back to the like why we need to upskill and kind of look into Python a bit more. It's about taking. So I don't know how automated your spreadsheets are.
Oh no, I mean they're pretty. I use a tool called Analytics Edge, which is a series of. It's an ETL tool for Excel.
Oh,
so
right.
so example so for me it's brilliant, so I can conceptually build stuff. So I can take data. So one of the things we're building at the moment is a keyword classification tool. So we strip out the search query and then we assign a value to each word, and then we recombine it and say, right, okay. So so we know what a color is. We know what a type is. And then, so, and again, it's for a lot of our clients that all they're getting from their existing agencies, this is where we come in, is the most rubbish. So half the time they're not even breaking them out into brand or generic. So, I mean, we automate. I would say this probably saves me hours each week. Because I can just, so the classic example is, I want to extract everything out of the API. Fine, I go away and make a cup of coffee. And then I've written 89 queries to get as much data back out of the Search Console app as possible. So that's so my next step is go, right, where do I go next with this data? That's where the deep learning stuff and the machine learning stuff becomes really interesting.
Which you can't really do in
you can't do in Excel, with the rest were possible.
Yeah, all the logic-based stuff, provided you've got your data sets aren't too big, is all doable in Excel.
Exactly. And then it's the next.
Python allows you to add that kind of we'll call it magic. It's not magic, but the math.
I mean, okay. At the moment, till I start watching your videos, it is going to be magic because it's that new exciting world out there.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's like even a lot of I know there's a lot of examples floating around in the SEO world right now of like how we use deep learning and use machine learning in our tools. But I think the real magic is once you build it all into pipelines. Because in the end, if you're just continually running scripts over and over again, it's just a faster version of Excel. Yep. The clever stuff, what comes when you've combined data in your bed and the data is being combined and you wake up and then the analysis is done for you and you basically just pick what you need to pick.
Well, I always
that's kind of like where I see it going.
You see, we've come up with this concept. Do you know Craig Sullivan at all? Have you met Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he and I have got a concept of what we call data noodling, which is we get to the data quicker and then we start finding interesting stuff. Because if you think what's half the thing I find with data is you're cleaning up somebody else's rubbishy data.
Yeah.
You have it. Yeah. And your time is spent getting to it.
Yeah, essentially, and that's where Python's really good as well. It's just like if you're using the same data over and over again, you've got a script, it cleans it up. You don't need to do it every bloody time.
Exactly. So
that is the bit that I hate the most in my job.
I think everybody hates it. I did see somewhere recently said, was it data scientists said they spend somewhere between 20 to 80% of their time cleaning data.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's just
absolutely. That's always been the case. It's just like, because then it's just that you know what graphs and what analysis you're going to do in it, and then the easy bit is essentially the analysis. The hard bit's cleaning it up. Particularly if you're working with like text analysis and stuff like that, cleaning up data, text data.
Oh yes.
And when you're using really, really large data sets, you can't really do it on your machine.
No, and that's why you want to be throwing it in the cloud. So are you an AWS or an Azure guy? Or a Google cloud? Sorry,
I use AWS.
And why AWS?
I don't. I'll use anyone. I don't know, because I got to know AWS first, so I played it more. So that's how I know it. But Google Clouds, I've been told it's a bit better, but I don't know why. I was told by another person who's doing machine learning stuff. He works for a paid search company who has a machine learning tool, of which I'm not entirely sure what the details are. But he told me that Amazon are years and years ahead of Google for their natural language processing, which I thought really interesting. And then I just thought of something there. That could be because the sort of stuff that they're doing is e-commerce and retail, and Amazon's obviously going to have really good e-commerce and retail algorithms. So that might be why Google in that subset's better.
Yeah, it's a start of a journey. I've got to shoot off now because I've got to go and do the last bit of the school run. So
no problem. It's good catching up. We don't really have much
to cover. No, it's
on you go.
No, guess it, right. I shall speak to you soon, Nick. Okay, thanks for setting this up.
Later, Charles.
Thanks, bye.
Hey, Emilio. I guess
it's the two of us.
Something to ask? Yeah, it's just the two of us. Unless you have something you want to ask, or.
Well, my background is different because I'm not so data savvy. I'm just starting, so I'm starting from a new point of view. Let's say I'm currently learning Python through Jupyter Notebook, Pandas and NumPy, and yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts on if you think that's the best way to start, or if you have any recommendations.
That is so. What is your background right now?
Well, I work for an FMCG company. I'm a marketer, but let's say we work here more. Let's say it's not the most data savvy environment, but I want to get more into this field.
Cool.
We do the campaigns, the more creative side of things, but I also want to get into more analytic side. And yeah, I have some background because during university I studied some statistics, but of course I'm not so strong as a mathematician or a computer science person. But
few of us are. That's why they exist. They're there to write all the cool maths, and we just use it in Python package form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're looking to get much better at data analysis, I mean, is your objective in the end to be able to automate things, or is it just to do better data analysis?
Both. I mean, if as you were discussing, if I would be able to, for example, cut some time with some scripts that I can use for some Excel files, or if I can pull data with some API that I can have built, or and of course the data side, the analysis part, of course, if I can learn from that would be great.
Yeah. So I think.
But I'm just starting, so. Yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm a big believer in using pandas and Jupyter notebooks as a way of getting into data analysis. Getting into Python. So yeah, I think what you're doing is the right thing. At some point, what you'll realize as you get into things is you're going to have to get better at general Python. So like Pandas is basically Excel, so you're getting really good at Excel, and it has all these custom-built functions for Pandas. Sometimes you come up against things, and you're like, actually, to use Python, the core version of Python to do this would be better than using Pandas, or sometimes Pandas just doesn't have a solution, so you need to be able to use the core version of Python to code your own custom functions. But Pandas gives you a good place to practice, and if you've done a bit of data analysis, then like you get to the kind of rhythm. I keep saying this, but like I feel like coding has a rhythm to it in your fingers. So you get used to the syntax and the rhythm of coding. So you just get better at it, and you can start to figure out the things with Python. So yeah, particularly because you're doing marketing and you're doing data analysis, I think Jupyter Notebooks and with Pandas is a good place to start. But just keep in the back of your mind that if you want to, I mean, you can run machine learning models and do automation in the notebooks, but if you want to build like true automation, you're going to have to get better at Python.
Okay, makes sense.
Does that make sense?
And do you know of any resources? Because I've looked at some of your videos in your channel, and I also sign up for some Udemy courses. Are there like any books or any other YouTube channels that you would recommend?
There's so I've got the, what's it called, Python for Data Analysis book, which is written by the guy who created Pandas. So that's quite good. The problem is you've just got to like, you learn best by just doing and then coming up against problems and then solving the problem. So Google is the best resource.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used the Python for Data Analysis book, and it's quite good. And it showed me, because Pandas is massive, it's loads and loads of things. So it showed me things that I didn't know were there. But again, like Pandas keeps getting updated, so there's things that are not in that book that are in Pandas now. So yeah, I guess it's, for me, the best way to learn was to do a couple of those little courses. And do a couple of YouTube videos, but in the end, it was like, what was the problem I was trying to solve? And then Google the specific solution bit by bit, and then you just keep doing that over and over again, and then you get better at it. So that's the kind of way I've learned. Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, one really nice thing I noticed is that there is always someone that has been in a similar problem that you are trying to solve, so you are not starting from scratch. So yeah, if you are stuck with some piece of code or something, you can always go to Google because someone had a similar question at some point. So it's really nice to have these resources, and makes learning much easier.
If you come up against an error, you just Google the error and you'll get a Stack Overflow question where something similar has been answered. So if you don't have a Stack Overflow account, definitely get a Stack Overflow account, because you'll need to learn how to pose the questions on Stack Overflow, because the community can be a bit shitty, to be frank. But for the shitty people, there's also amazing people in there who just answer your questions in a really nice way and help you learn like why you had that problem. But yeah, that's the best way. Also, like, you can always post in the Slack group if there's a problem that keeps persisting that doesn't have a simple answer, and I or a couple of other people in there might be able to help solve that little problem.
Yes. Oh, I don't want to hold you because it's just the two of us. I don't want to.
That's cool. But well, we're coming up. It's 17:29, so the calls usually only last 30 minutes, so it's perfect time.
Perfect.
Any questions? Hit me on Slack.
I appreciate a lot the few minutes you dedicated to me. So yeah, I will keep learning. I will keep training, and hopefully next time I'll know a bit more and I can contribute a bit more.
Yeah, it's contributing, just showing up and asking questions, contributing. You don't always need to be answering the questions to contribute. Yeah, and like with Python, like you only learn Python by doing it. You only learn it by doing it. Just do it, and then spend loads of your time making mistakes, and then then you'll get to the answer, and you'll be like, I can't believe I didn't know that. But yeah, if you have any like issues, you get any questions that it isn't immediately answerable on Google, just come into the channel and post a question.
Perfect. You mentioned a video earlier. You are posting a new video, or I got it wrong.
Yeah, I'm posting a new video, but it's not a tutorial video. It's more on the last call. A couple of
Okay.
asked why would we spend our time learning Python, and this is basically just a series of videos of like, I've been doing Python for like 4 years, so I kind of see where the world is going, and how I don't necessarily think our current skill sets are going to be relevant in the next 3 to 5 years.
No, but still, that's a really interesting video, so I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, I hope you find it useful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Nick.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
It was good chatting. I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye.